This orientation and training class in no way represents the full scope of the work required. Your supervisor must supply you with additional hands-on and other specific training. Welcome to Weber School District New Custodian Orientation and Training. We're glad you're here, and we're glad to have you as our newest custodian. The job you will be doing is vital in keeping our schools in top shape. Without you, our schools would not be the great environment for learning that they are. Today we're going to cover some basic information about what your job involves and some important safety information that you need to know about. It's also required that you have this information under district practices and federal law. Please pay close attention and remember this is part of your job. You're getting paid to be here. If you have a cell phone, please take it out right now and turn it off so you don't have any distractions as you learn. It's important that you know this information for your safety and to help you know how to do your job so you'll be happier. Please pay close attention, and before you know it, you'll be ready to join the team keeping our schools clean and comfortable. All right, let's get started.
The information we cover here is important for many reasons, but first and foremost, we care about your safety. By learning about some of the basics of your job, you will be more prepared and less likely to be injured on the job. Additionally, there is important information that is required that we share with you, also meant to keep you safe and prevent injuries. An important resource we have as an employee of Weber School District is Employee Online. This is where your pay stubs can be found if needed, and where you can update your personal information, including your emergency contact information. Make sure to speak with your supervisor, and they will help you get logged in and set up to your Employee Online account. Let's talk about the district dress code. For the most part, we follow the same dress code that is required for the students of the district. The additions that we follow are meant to provide you with additional protection from injury. Things that should not be worn while working. No flip-flops or open-toed shoes. They don't offer any protection for your feet at all. No short shorts. Your shorts should come down to about your knees. Also, your supervisor will determine whether you can wear shorts to work based on your work tasks. Sometimes, shorts do not provide the protection needed for your legs from a task that you may do. And of course, no tank tops. Good things to wear to work? Shirts with sleeves, a logo district shirt if you have one, proper work shoes, and a district ID badge. ID badges need to be worn during the school year and during the summer. There are a few policies that we want all part-time custodians to follow as part-time custodian rules. First, if you are going to be absent, please call your supervisor as soon as possible. During the regular school year, you should call no later than noon of that day you are supposed to be working. Work the full time you are being paid to work. Don't sit and chat. No unauthorized school equipment should be used, including things like TVs, projectors, sound systems, or computers. Remember, custodial staff is always being watched, so be professional. No cell phones should be used during your work shifts. For your safety and to help prevent potential contamination or chemical ingestion, no food or drink in work areas, nor should you be taking any breaks. Friends are not allowed to follow you while you work, and if you get injured at work, regardless of how minor it may seem, all injuries on the job must be reported, and then you must follow district policies for company nurse and work med. It's important to understand what to do in case of an injury. First off, if it's a serious injury, always start with calling 911. That should always be your first step to consider. Also, it's very important you notify your supervisor of any injury that happens as soon as possible. They'll help you through the process. One of those steps in the process they'll help you with is to call company nurse. They'll give you the number to make sure that you can make that phone call. Company nurse will answer your call regardless of what time you call and what shift you're on, and then they'll ask you some basic questions about the injury and how it happened. Based on your responses to their questions, they might instruct you that you need to be checked out at a local WorkMed location. They will tell you which one is nearest to you and which one to go to. Remember that after going to get checked out, we do have paperwork that has to be taken care of at the district or school level. So make sure that you talk with your head secretary at your school, and they'll help you with that paperwork that needs to be filled out. Also important to note is that we need to have a return to work release from the doctor after you've been seen, and this applies for personal injuries as well as work-related injuries done by WorkMed. If you go see a doctor, we need to make sure you have a return to work release, and that if there are any restrictions, those are noted clearly on that return to work release, so that we can make accommodations based on each case. If company nurse advises you to get checked out at an emergency room, possibly because the now care hours are closed, just follow the advice that they give you, and the district will take care of the process from there. So for what kind of injuries should you call 911 first before calling company nurse? Well, some examples would include severe bleeding, severe difficulty breathing, broken bones or compound fractures, and loss of consciousness, such as passing out, or even, for example, a seizure. Any of those serious situations that might be considered life or limb would justify calling 911 first. One of the ways we make sure that you are as protected as possible at work would be through the use of personal protective equipment, or PPE. So what is PPE? Anything that is used to protect you from exposure to an external hazard is considered PPE. This would include things like gloves, eye protection, hearing protection, and in some cases the type of clothing we wear, which includes proper footwear, long pants, or even long sleeves, depending on the cases and needs of your tasks. So where can you find the required PPE for your job? Well, generally speaking, the basic required PPE that you need for your job is provided by the school district and by your boss. Any extremely personal things, such as clothing and footwear, would be things that you would need to take care of on your own. If you have any questions about what PPE is required or expected and what you need from work, talk to your supervisor about that. Since using disposable gloves is an important part of what we do to protect ourselves, an important aspect of PPE, we need to talk about those real quick. First off, size and fit. Why is it important you have the right size glove? Well, having too tight of glove can make those gloves fail sooner, rip, or they could be impeding your ability to move your hands. Additionally, too large of gloves can fall off, the contaminants can enter the glove and not give you proper protection, or the glove itself can get entangled in hazards or just get in the way of what you're doing. Now we're going to watch a video that shows the proper method of removing disposable gloves. Removing disposable gloves after use is easy, but must be done properly to avoid contaminating the hands you work so hard to keep clean by wearing gloves in the first place. While there is more than one way to properly remove disposable gloves, here is one method. Pinch the glove cuff at the wrist and pull it slightly away from the skin of your wrist without touching your skin. Peel the glove away from your hand, allowing it to turn inside out as it is rolled down your hand. Hold the removed glove in your still gloved hand and slide the fingers of your ungloved hand between the glove and the skin of your wrist. Remove the second glove by rolling it down the hand and folding it into the first glove. Discard the used glove in a suitable trash bag. Don't forget to wash and dry your hands and arms. Use soap and water and scrub under your fingernails. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. Dry your hands using a clean roll cloth or paper towel. The last section of that video talked about washing your hands properly, which is a very important part of proper use of PPE. Immediately after removing your PPE, you should wash your hands using hand soap. If you're in a situation where you can't get to a sink with soap and water, such as working out in the grounds, it is okay to use hand sanitizer, but this does not replace washing your hands with soap and water. So as soon as possible, even after using hand sanitizer, you should wash your hands with soap and water. First, wet your hands with warm running water, then apply the soap. If you do it in reverse, you'll just rinse the soap off and not get your hands properly cleaned. Don't forget to scrub the areas of your hands that might not be used as often, and that bacteria might build up on, which includes between your fingers, the backs of your hands, and under your fingernails. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, which is really important to make sure that that soap has its time to do the job. Then rinse your hands under running water and dry your hands using a clean roll cloth or paper towel. Now let's talk a bit about chemical safety. So why is chemical safety important? If we misuse chemicals, especially around children that are more susceptible to chemicals, we risk damage to our health, the health of others, or surfaces. So here are a few best practices to prevent chemical-related injuries. Keep custodial closets locked at all times. When you use a custodial closet, make sure the door closes behind you as you leave. Read the label. Don't judge by the color. Although most people think a blue chemical means it's glass cleaner, there are several different chemicals that have the same color, and misuse could ruin surfaces or lead to chemical-related injuries. And going along with that idea, only use chemicals in a properly labeled bottle and in the proper application method. A proper label is a manufactured label, whether printed on the bottle directly or a sticker. Never modify a label or think it is okay to write your own. It must be made by the manufacturer. Also, never use a chemical in a different method than it was meant to be used. For example, an acid cleaner should never be used in a spray bottle. The majority of the chemicals that we use come in a concentrate and need to be diluted. If a chemical is not diluted properly, it could hurt someone due to being too strong, or not be effective because it is too weak, leading to the spread of disease or just not work. The two methods used to dilute chemicals are to either use a chemical dilution center, which dilutes the chemicals correctly for you, or by reading the chemical package and referring to a dilution chart to mix it properly with water. Always add the measured amount of chemical to the measured amount of water, not the other way around. Now we're going to talk about our Hazard Communication Standard, which is the GHS, the Global Harmonization System of Classification and Labeling. Every school should have a Right to Understand Center. In those Right to Understand Centers, you can find binders that have the safety data sheets. These safety data sheets give you information on the chemicals used in the building. Part of the information that you can read on those safety data sheets, as well as the labels of the chemicals themselves, would include symbols or pictograms, which give you a visual representation of the hazard, signal words, which include danger or warning, and these are used to give you a quick understanding of the severity of the hazard. And then hazard statements, which are phrases that give you a better, clearer understanding of those specific hazards. The GHS separates chemical hazards into three hazard classifications: physical hazards, health hazards, and environmental hazards. Here you can see examples of the pictograms and what they represent. I've also color-coded them to show what classifications they fall into: blue for physical hazards, red for health hazards, and green for environmental hazards. Additionally, safety data sheets include 16 sections that are predefined and required to be there. It's important that you know what the information is so you know how to properly use these chemicals and not put yourself at risk. One of the most important things to learn before using a chemical is how it's going to affect you and what to do in case of exposure, such as chemicals coming in contact with your skin or eyes. This information is found in Section 4, First Aid Measures. Let's look at the safety data sheet really quick and identify a few of the things we have covered so far. This is the safety data sheet for showers and stuff, one of the acid chemicals used in the district. We'll start in Section 2, Hazard Identification. Here we can see a pictogram showing that this chemical is a corrosive. Next, we see the signal word, which in this case is danger. And next, the hazard statement, which says, causes severe skin burns and eye damage, causes serious eye damage. So how would you react if a coworker got this chemical in their eye? Let's look at Section 4, First Aid Measures. For eyes, we see that it says, flush eyes with a large quantity of fresh water for at least 15 minutes. Apply ice compresses and get immediate emergency medical attention by an eye specialist. It may be necessary to take the victim to a hospital emergency room. Obviously, the best thing to do would be to review the SDS before using a chemical so you know what to do before needing to react. Like with previous sections, if you have questions about chemical safety or the GHS, talk to your head custodian. We believe in following proper cleaning techniques. There are two sides to cleaning: cleaning for appearance and cleaning for health. We believe health should be first, because if we focus on health, appearance will follow. But if we focus on appearance, people can still get sick. We always want to clean from highest to lowest areas. By working with gravity and not against it, we can be more efficient and not waste time. Always clean from the furthest point from the door to the door. We don't want to clean an area to just end up walking through it and messing it up. Always clean starting with dry and finishing with wet processes. If we fail to dust and sweep before applying chemicals, we will force that dust and debris down, making removing it that much harder. Speaking of dust, it would be impossible to list all the items that might be in dust. But as you can see here, there is more than enough reason to remember that dusting is important that we take care of. There are various ways that we work together in Weber School District. Starting with specialized cleaning. If you walk in and you are told that you will be cleaning all of the bathrooms, This is an example of specialized cleaning. You become an expert in a certain area or task. In zone cleaning, you may be asked to clean a section of the building, and everything in that area is your responsibility. The last method we'll look at is team cleaning. Team cleaning is a lot like zone cleaning, except you share responsibility with a small group of coworkers for a large area. Some schools might do a combination of a few methods, such as having a restroom specialist and have areas assigned to others to be zone cleaned. One of the basic responsibilities of all part-time custodians is to know the method of cleaning your school uses and what is expected in your assignment. One tool that we use to help you with this is to use job charts. A job chart will give you a step-by-step process to follow to complete your assignment. If you have questions or problems, it is your responsibility to ask your supervisor or head custodian for clarification. Don't just suffer in silence. Although you will have your assignments, realize you may be asked to help with other tasks that you may not expect, including inside and outside work like snow removal or yard work. Keep an eye out for pests or signs of pests in your building. If you see any, make sure to report them to your head custodian so they can be taken care of. In elementary schools that do not have an assistant head custodian, there is a lead part-time custodian. Their responsibilities include all the same responsibilities as other part-time custodians, plus they are to relay messages to and from the head custodian and the evening crew, lock up and secure the building at the end of the day, and take care of special tasks and projects from the head custodian or administrators. It is important that we safeguard our keys. But why? If you lose your keys, the person that ends up with them will have access to the school. This could result in vandalism or theft. Additionally, if the keys are not returned, to maintain security, the locks throughout the school would all have to be redone. Find out where you pick up your keys at the beginning of your shift. It should be a secure location, like a lockbox, locking drawer, or in an area that is kept locked other than when you are in there. At the end of your shift, be sure to return your keys. Do not take them home with you. If you forget and accidentally take them home with you, call your supervisor immediately and return them as soon as possible. Now let's go through the restroom cleaning processes. Some basic cleaning tools that we use for cleaning restrooms include bowl brushes, which are stiff bristle brushes used for basic scrubbing and cleaning of toilets and urinals. Next, we have the bowl swab, which is a soft nylon applicator used for applying chemicals. These are not going to be used as a scrubber or used on sinks. Next, we have the light-duty scrubbing sponge, yellow and white colors. This is used for daily removal of soils on different fixtures in the restrooms, such as sinks and countertops. We do not want to use this scrubbing sponge on toilets or urinals. It's important to not cross-contaminate. Next, we have the number 3000 sponge, which is a little bit more heavy-duty than the light-duty sponge. And this is a great sponge to use on toilets and urinals for scrubbing those hard buildups that might happen there. Once again, if you're using this on toilets and urinals, do not use it in sinks or on countertops. And then the last tool we're going to talk about here is the surf brush, stiff bristled brush that can be used when scrubbing tile floors. This helps get the buildup off so that you don't stick to the floor due to chemical buildup. We have 3 different colors of microfiber towels that we stock in our district warehouse. The purpose of the color is to help separate the task. Red towels are used on toilets, urinals, and stall partitions in those more likely to be dirty areas. Next, we have the yellow towels. These yellow towels we'll use on sinks, countertops, and general purpose cleaning. Then we have the blue towel. That's used on mirrors and glass in general. When you use microfiber towels, make sure that you use them for one area or a task, and when you move on to the next, that towel that you used in the first area gets laundered. We do not reuse towels throughout the building. We want to make sure we wash them between each task. An important note, if you don't have access to microfiber towels and you just have the terry cloth towels, that's just fine. Just make sure you follow the same process with the terry cloth towels that you would with microfiber. Use one for one section and then grab a clean one for the next. Make sure to not cross-contaminate. There are a lot of different tools and supplies we can use for cleaning restrooms. It's important to get your supplies together before going off to clean. Make sure you have what you need. This will save you time and help you get the job done quicker and better. Also, it's important to remember that regardless of which type of tools we use and which types of supplies we use, the job is overall the same. We need to scrub surfaces and make sure that things are properly cleaned. Whether you're using a machine to help apply chemical or a trigger sprayer, the process still includes scrubbing. What PPE is required for cleaning a restroom? Well, we want to make sure you always have your disposable gloves, proper footwear, and your safety glasses. An optional item of PPE would include a filter mask or dust mask. Filter masks will help you if there's chemicals being used and it's causing you to cough or you are having a hard time breathing. Now we're going to watch the restroom cleaning video that goes through the daily process of how we clean restrooms. Let's talk about classroom cleaning. When cleaning whiteboards, use only whiteboard cleaner or glass cleaner. Other chemicals can damage it, so it will not erase properly. Also, make sure to wipe the marker tray to remove the dust that may fall there. As mentioned in the restroom cleaning video, hotspots can spread bacteria and disease. Properly disinfect hotspots. Hotspots are areas that are frequently touched, making them a hotspot for bacteria growth. Some examples in classrooms would include light switches, doorknobs, and desktops. Remember, sinks need to be cleaned in classrooms just like in restrooms. Follow the same process as shown in the restroom cleaning video we just finished. There are two types of Pro Team backpack vacuums that we generally use in the district, the Pro Team Super Coach Vac and the Pro Team Super Coach Pro. All district backpack vacuums should have a label with care directions on them. If you go to use a backpack vacuum that does not have a care label attached, talk to your head custodian and request it. Now let's watch a couple of videos that show how to care for and use these vacuums. This first video contains specific instructions for the care and use of the Pro Team Super Coach Vac. You can easily identify it by its round base, cylindrical shape. If you are not sure which vacuum you have, ask your supervisor.
It's important to make sure that you take good care of your backpack vacuum so the warranty stays active and to make sure the vacuum is always ready to use and help you do your job. Let's review some routine maintenance recommendations in just 4 steps. Number 1. At the end of every vacuum use, in other words, at the end of your working shift each day, clean the paper bag and the cloth filter bags. A clogged and dirty filter bag restricts airflow and results in reduced suction and overheating of the motor. To maintain these filter bags, first take off the top cap. Carefully pull out the paper bag and the cloth filter bag at the same time to avoid tearing the paper bag. Empty the paper bag every day after use. That's every day after each use. Handle the paper bag carefully to avoid tears. Turn the paper filter bag upside down into a trash can that has a plastic liner and gently allow the contents to fall into the trash can. Gently shake the bag over the garbage can until it's mostly empty. Minimize dust in the air. Check both the paper bag and the cloth bags for rips or tears. Replace both bags in the vacuum before you leave. At the end of the week, you'll need to replace the paper filter bag with a brand new bag. Number 2. At the end of each week, hand wash the cloth filter bag in cool water and let it air dry over the weekend. Do not put it in the dryer, just hang it up to dry. If your vacuum has a foam filter over the motor at the end of each week, that dome filter on the motor needs to be cleaned. To access the dome filter, remove the paper and cloth filter bags, reach into the vacuum body and pull the top piece of the dome filter off and remove that foam filter media. Gently shake it out, rinse it in cool water and let it air dry over the weekend. Remove the diffuser filter foam from the bottom of the vacuum and rinse it in cool water and let dry as well. Once dry, replace and firmly snap the dome filter into place. Reinstall the diffuser filter as well. Next, reinstall the cloth filter bag. Make sure the lip of the filter completely covers the rim of the vacuum. Never use the vacuum without both the cloth and paper filter bags in place. Replace the top cap, ensuring it's closed snugly. Number 3. Wipe the exterior vacuum body with a microfiber cloth sprayed lightly with a disinfectant. Be careful not to get water or disinfectant on any of the electrical parts of the vacuum. Number 4. If your vacuum has a HEPA dome filter, once every month inspect the HEPA filter. When the filter becomes discolored, replace it with a new one. For best results, these filters should be replaced every year. 4 easy steps to take care of your backpack vacuum so it takes good care of you. Loosen the shoulder straps and the waist belt. Lift the vacuum and slide your arms through the straps. Connect the waist strap. Tighten the waist belt by grabbing the ends of the straps and pulling each end away from each other. It's very important that the weight of the vacuum be concentrated on your hips rather than on your shoulders. Adjust the shoulder straps so that the vacuum fits comfortably but the weight is concentrated on your hips. Connect the chest strap buckle. The on-off switch is conveniently located on the waist belt on the backpack vacuum. The switch box is secured to the waist belt. Use the proper attachments for the job you are doing.
This second video contains specific instructions for the care and use of the Pro Team Super Coach Pro. You can easily identify it by its triangular-based shape. If you are not sure which vacuum you have, ask your supervisor. It's important to make sure you take good care of your backpack vacuum so the warranty stays active and to make sure the vacuum is always ready to help you do your job. Let's review some routine maintenance recommendations in just 4 steps. First, at the end of every vacuum use, in other words, at the end of your work shift each day, clean the paper filter bag and the cloth filter bag. A clogged and dirty filter bag restricts airflow and results in reduced suction and overheating. To maintain these filter bags, first take off the top cap. Carefully pull out the paper filter bag and the cloth filter bag at the same time to avoid tearing the paper filter bag. Empty the paper bag every day after use. Handle the paper bag carefully to avoid tears. Turn the paper filter bag upside down into a trash can that has a plastic liner and gently allow all contents to fall into the trash. Gently shake the bag into the garbage can until empty. Minimize dust in the air. Check both the paper and cloth bags for rips or tears. Replace both bags in the vacuum before you leave. At the end of the week, you need to replace the paper filter bag with a new bag. Second, at the end of each week, hand wash the cloth filter bag in cool water and let it air dry over the weekend. Do not put it in the dryer. At the end of the week, clean the dome filter on the motor. To access the dome filter, remove the paper and cloth filter bags. Reach into the vacuum body and pull the top piece of the dome filter off and remove the foam filter media. Gently shake it out, rinse it in cool water, and let it air dry over the weekend. Once dry, replace and firmly snap the top piece of the dome filter into place. Next, reinstall the cloth filter bag. Make sure the lip of the filter completely covers the rim of the vacuum. Never use the vacuum without both the paper and cloth filter bags in place. Replace the top cap, ensuring it is closed snugly. Third, wipe the exterior of the vacuum body with a microfiber cloth sprayed lightly with disinfectant. Be careful not to get water or disinfectant on any electrical parts. Fourth, once every month, inspect the HEPA filter. When the filter becomes discolored, replace it with a new one. For best results, these filters should be replaced every year. To inspect or replace the HEPA filters, depress the raised portion of the tab on the filter door. Then, pivot the door away from the vacuum body. Grasp the plastic housing on the HEPA filter and remove from the vacuum. To replace the filter door, align the 2 tabs to the housing. Press in place, then rotate upward. Be sure to snap the locking tabs of the spring finger behind the tab on the housing. You should hear an audible click if installed correctly. Wearing the ProTeam Flex Fit harness. Loosen the shoulder straps and the waist belt. Lift the vacuum and slide your arms through the straps. Connect the waist strap. Tighten the waist belt by grabbing the ends of the strap and pulling each end towards each other. It's very important that the weight of the unit be concentrated on your hips rather than your shoulders. Adjust the shoulder straps so that the unit fits comfortably, but the weight is concentrated on your hips. Connect the chest strap buckle and slide the strap up or down on the sewn-in wire support for the best fit. The areas on the harness that touch the user are made from breathable mesh material to keep the operator cool. The on-off switch is conveniently located on the waist belt of the backpack vacuum. The switch box is secured to the waist belt with Velcro running through the top and bottom of the switch box and then to the inside of the waist belt. Use the proper attachments for the job. When vacuuming, there are a couple of things we want to focus on. First, pick up large pieces by hand. The vacuum wands are not designed to pick up big pieces and will clog, which will waste your time. Vacuum out pencil sharpeners to save time and to make the job cleaner. Pay extra attention to corners and edges, behind trash cans and doors, and around table and desk legs. Those little pieces of paper that fall into these spaces are annoying, but need to be taken care of. Also, the dust that can build up in these areas, if not taken care of, can get into the carpet fibers, be hard to remove, and cause damage to the carpet fibers. When handling trash, remember that trash cans can be extremely gross and even have bodily fluids, so don't forget your PPE. Never press trash down with your hands, which could result in you getting stuck with a sharp item or coming in contact with the bodily fluid. If you must compress the trash, use the bottom of a small classroom can to carefully and slowly do so. Especially if you compress the trash cans can have spills or marks on them, so always clean and disinfect trash cans, inside and out as needed. Trash can liners, if not dirty, can be reused, but they should be changed as needed, or at least weekly, usually on the last day of the week. At the end of your shift, regardless of what task you do, clean and restock the supplies you use. If you clean restrooms, clean your cart and restock the supplies so it is ready for the next day. If you do a trash route, clean the supply caddy on your trash can, restock it for the next day, and make sure you replace the trash can liner. Also, check your inventory in the custodial closet and restock as needed, or notify your supervisor if supplies need to be ordered. Don't forget to clean the closet as well. Sweep the floor and clean out the mop sink. At the end of your workday, make sure to wash your hands again. We don't want you to get sick. Remember to record your time so you get paid correctly, and of course, don't forget to turn in your keys.
Thank you for your attention, and remember that if you have any questions on this information or anything else about your job, don't hesitate to ask your supervisor or head custodian.